Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with the unbelievably, crazily expensive try and get one that isn't slightly dented reissue of Benjamin Britten's War Requiem. See? All right, look. Here's the bottom line. We were just talking about the War Requiem as one of the greatest recordings ever made, and it is. And the kind of treatment Decca gives it here is sort of akin to what Sony did with the Glenn Gould Goldberg Variations recordings, you know, hundreds of recordings and things. You don't get alternate takes, actually, as you do with the Goldberg Variations. Each variation gets 500 takes in its own CD or whatever. It was crazy. But just to recapitulate, first there was a CD of the War Requiem it was on two CDs in a small CD-sized version of this black cover, which was the original album cover. So that came out, all right? Then it was reissued as one of the Decca originals. Here it is. This is the one I talked about as one of the greatest recordings ever. Now, this also contains, this originals one, the rehearsal sequence that John Colshaw sneakily made behind the composer's back, which is very interesting. I mean, it's fun to listen to, rehearsal segments from, major artists screaming and yelling or very nicely cajoling or whatever they do. And Britten was very nice most of the time. And he discusses the whole thing, and hearing how he worked and how these things were created is a very interesting thing, and it's historically valuable as documentation of how the industry worked and how composers worked and all that stuff. So that's in here. And this was cheap. This was $20. Yeah, no problem. This sucker is over 100, and if you get LPs, I think it's at LPs now. I saw it on Amazon. It was like $146 for like 3 LPs, 2 LPs. I cannot believe what people pay for vinyl, in the absolutely mistaken, fallacious, nonsensical belief that vinyl somehow is better than digits. I mean, come on, people. Oy, oy, oy. Anyway, we're not going to go there. We're not going to have that argument, are we? No, we are not. So what do you get in this? First of all, where are you going to put it? Unless you still have LPs, which I don't. Where do you put this? I mean, how? Where? I guess you put it in a bookshelf or a bookcase or something, if you have a bookcase that's tall enough. And the whole thing is divided up on only 2 CDs. Disc 1 has the entire War Requiem. Disc 2 has the rehearsal sequence. Now, this is also supposedly on SACD. So, it has remastered SACD sound, whereas this is not an SACD. And, the sound is supposed to be better. And I've compared them, and it is. It is marginally better. Does it make any difference? Well, it doesn't make big enough difference for me to care. I mean, if I want, remarkably better sound, I'll go listen to Richard Hickok's on Chandos, which sounds fabulous. Anyway. So let's just see if I can. I don't even have a place to put this to open it. So let's see how they do this. So you open it up. Here, let's do it back here where Mildred usually hangs out, in the Mildred spot. She's over there with her slinky toy and wanting to play. So she's learned, actually, when I'm talking to you folks, she kind of holds back and waits till I'm done. Then when I'm done, she'll pounce and anyway. So you get a booklet. You get a book. Of course, you better get a booklet. It better be one hell of a booklet. Well, it's not hardcover. It has, one of these, session card things, and reel-to-reel tapes, and marked up bits of score, and it was 60 years ago today, the War Requiem in 2023. So you get essays and Coventry Cathedral. After the war, you get war things that sort of tell you what the War Requiem's all about, and let's see, and other stuff. So you get photographs and session stuff. It's all very interesting, and that's nice. So there it is, the usual artist bios and whatnot. Then you get this thing. Now this is very interesting. This is a slender little cardboard hoogie. I thought, frankly, when I got this originally, a while back that it was a mistake and that they were sending me LPs, and I was really kind of annoyed. Then I realized this wafer-thin thing could not possibly be LPs, because you open it up, nothing happens. You see, nothing happens. The question was, where were the CDs? Well, obviously, it's these two things. These are the CDs. It took me a minute to figure that out. I mean, call me stupid. It's like one of those word search things. It's like find the animal shapes hidden in the tree, like in those little children's books. You're supposed to circle them. Because you get this whole thing opens up like this. There you go. And I was looking around saying, well, maybe they stuck them in like this thing, but that doesn't open. And maybe they were over here. And I know I'm just stupid. I mean, I'm not really visual at all. So here is the War Requiem, and here is the rehearsal sequence in there. And I mean, that's what you get for your $100+. I personally think, that unless you do this as I do professionally, and I feel, a sort of professional obligation to go and purchase these things so I can tell you about them, so I can talk to you about them, offset the cost with hopefully the bountiful advertising revenue that my channel will generate one of these years. I just don't understand why anybody needs to get that for the marginal improvement in sonics. If you can still get this one for $20, $25, you're in really, really good shape. And frankly, what they could do, and they haven't, is get rid of the rehearsal sequence if that isn't something that interests you, and put the whole thing on one disc and sell it for a budget price. I mean, they're not going to, and I don't think they should. Honestly, I really believe that the artists and the labels that make the investment in this stuff deserve to recoup that investment and profit from it. They can profit wildly if they want. So put it on one CD and sell it at full price. Put it on two CDs and sell it at full price. Sell it for $30. I mean, that's fair. I think that's perfectly fair. But to do this sort of a production thing and sell it for over $100, I think that's just daft, as they would say in the old UK. Yes, it's an exercise in daftitude, daftosity. I mean, dafticiousness, whatever you want to call it. And I checked the price on Amazon UK, and the price on Amazon UK was, it's basically the same. It was like 70 or 80 pounds, so you add 20%. You wind up with sort of the same thing. Forget about shipping to wherever you're shipping it to. It's just outrageous. I mean, is it important enough? Well, how do you put a value on importance? The value you put on importance is what any of you folks are willing to pay. And if you're willing to pay it, more power to you. I can't criticize. I cannot. But for normal people, you can get a less expensive version if you can still find them and be very, very well served. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me, and take care.